The law school admissions process is splitter friendly. Hey, what's up everybody? Steve Schwartz here from LSAT Unplugged, joining you today to share a bit about law school admissions and splitters. Before I get into it, a little bit about LSAT Unplugged. We offer live online classes via Zoom, on-demand video courses, small group coaching, and one-on-one coaching. Check out the links below this video to find out more and to book a call with me and my team. We'd love to help you out. So for those of you who don't know, splitters are applicants who have high LSAT scores and low GPAs, and reverse splitters are those who have high GPAs and low LSAT scores. I'm going to focus it for this video specifically on splitters, those with the high LSAT and the low GPA. Now, folks who have numbers that are high in one department and low in another department typically tend to get worried because, of course, not everything is perfect. But first off, you don't need to worry because things are rarely perfect, and it's perfectly normal to have numbers high in one and low in another. So you could have a high LSAT and a low GPA, or you could have a high GPA and a low LSAT. One can cancel out the other. Now, typically, when it comes to the law school admissions process, virtually every single law school weighs LSAT scores more heavily than GPA, which means that by default, virtually every single law school is splitter friendly. You don't need to worry about being a splitter because almost everyone is a splitter, and law schools like LSAT scores more than they like GPAs because, of course, GPAs are not directly comparable. Someone with a 4.0 in sociology is not going to be viewed the same as someone with a 4.0 in engineering. Some majors are more prone to grade inflation than others, and of course, different professors and different schools have their own idiosyncrasies when it comes to grades. So what this means is that GPAs are so inflated as to be virtually meaningless, as Kelly Testy over at LSAC once quipped. What this means is that it's okay that your GPA is not as high as you'd like it to be if you can make up for it with a relatively higher LSAT score. And if you end up with, say, a 170 plus LSAT and a 2.5 GPA, you can still get into some great law schools. Obviously, the higher your numbers are, the better you'll do, but it's much better to be a splitter with a high LSAT, low GPA than to be a reverse splitter with a high GPA and a low LSAT, because GPAs are not objective the same way that LSAT scores are objective and comparable, because again, different majors, different undergrad institutions, different professors, they don't always know how to evaluate your 4.0 in sociology. Did you get the 4.0 because you were a great student, or because it's not always that hard to get a 4.0 in sociology? I know. I took a couple of sociology classes myself back in college to help boost my GPA. I know how it can be. So all this to say, if your GPA is not as high as you would have liked it to be, maybe you didn't take the classes with the easy A's, you can still make up for it with a high LSAT score. If you had family issues in college, difficulty adjusting, you had some personal matters that you had to take care of, whatever it was, it's okay. Of course, you can write an addendum to explain away a low GPA, but the best thing you can do if your LSAT score is not done yet, if you're not done taking the LSAT, is of course, get the highest LSAT score possible. You can become a splitter and get into some great law schools. Even T14 law schools will take splitters because, of course, they value that high LSAT score, since US News values the LSAT score, and the highest LSAT score of their matriculating students is what gets reported to the ABA, which in turn goes to US News. So if you are still retaking the LSAT or taking it for the first time, I'd love to help you out. You can, of course, check out my courses, but as well as my book, Mastering the LSAT, available at lsatmasterybook.com. And if you found this video helpful, please do me a favor and share it with someone who needs to see it. I don't do any advertising for this channel. I rely only on word of mouth to help get the word out. So if you know anyone else who's applying to law school, who's worried about being a splitter because they've got a low GPA, this video could make the difference for them, motivating them to keep pushing for the highest LSAT score possible. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.